So Young Thug's doing BOGO deals like it's Walmart. That's man, that's I don't know, man. That sounds very interesting, man. We'll see. We're gonna look into if this could be true, and we're also gonna discuss if it even matters in the first place. So first, make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button. My name is Emphasis. I am an artist and a content creator who talks from time to time about things in the realm of music that I think are interesting. But in the case of Young Thug, he's had a very interesting year or two. We all know the infamous court case he was dealing with the past several years, where many of us just assumed that Miss Gorilla Grip Fannie Willis was gonna put him in jail for a long time. But Young Thug defied the odds, and due to a series of events, he was able to be released from jail. And it hasn't been a smooth transition for him getting back into the getting back into this his normal lane that he is was occupying for the past decade. We all know that a while ago now, phone calls had leaked of Young Thug talking to several people, some like one being like his girl, and then other phone calls are like him talking to other artists, like his fellow artists, basically trying to coordinate a blackballing of Gunna, where he wanted to put out an album the same time Gunna did to try to sabotage it, to try to divert attention away from Gunna. Then also suggesting that these artists diss Gunna on his album, and it was a very bad look because it made Young Thug seem like a hater. And it didn't help that Gunna has been on fire the past 2 years, and not only has he been more commercially successful than these other guys, but in my opinion, I think he's just simply been making better music than these other guys as of recently. If it was a regular person who were doing some of these phone calls and stuff, it probably wouldn't be as big of a deal. But we also have to remember that this is an artist who, like many artists, their main goal is to try to make themselves seem like the standard for what's cool and the standard for the streets, even though the streets aren't a real place, but people still want to convince themselves that it is, whatever. And also, they're trying to make themselves seem bigger than life, of course. And this is also why him allegedly struggling to sell concert tickets could be problematic for his image, right? Because when it comes to the whole bigger than life aspect, I've made a video months ago where I said, hey, a lot of artists have like an unspoken pressure sitting on them to try to make themselves seem more lit than they actually are. Like that's an unspoken pressure that does exist because many people know, many of these artists and labels know that most people are not really fans like that. They're just I say all the time, most people are not fans of music. They're just consumers of music. And with that being the case, most people, they just follow whatever's already popular. So if you're already perceived to be popular, they're going to flock to you and convince themselves that they like you. But if you're in a position where Young Thug allegedly is in, where it's coming out that he's having a hard time selling tickets, that's gonna make people, on top of the fact that you haven't had a hit song recently, it's gonna make people assume that you fell off, so to speak. And this is also why, quick side note, this is also why people buying bots and people buying CDs and payola and all these different methods over the years that people employ to juice up their numbers. This is also why these methods will never go away, because many people know that if you, the consumer, don't think they're already popular, many of you really won't give them a chance. But we gotta wonder or question why, if it is true, why would Young Thug be struggling to sell concert tickets? And one reason I just hinted at It could just simply because many people are assuming that he's not hot anymore because they're not really hearing any hit songs. But then also, it could be a matter of many people are looking at him differently because of how things have played out the past couple of years. Because when you see him go out of his way to try to blackball Gunna, or him trying to do the interview shortly after getting released from prison and trying to explain himself, or the leaked phone calls, like these things kind of take away from like that aura or that mystique surrounding Young Thug in the early part of his career. And that can make people look at someone like him very much differently than they looked at him before. Now, you look at him and it more so feels like you're looking at somebody who's just a hater, somebody who has the mentality of people in high school. Because one thing I've said before is many people, whether it's in music or the real world, many people still operate like they're in high school. So it's all about being in a clique, and then if you're not in that clique, people want to ice you out and try to sabotage you, and it's very weird, but people do it all the time. But above everything else, I think if it is true that Young Thug is struggling to sell tickets, I think the biggest issue of all is Young Thug broke the number one rule, which is if you're a mainstream artist, you always got to have a hit. Because if you have that hit, no matter what, people will forgive everything. Nobody really cares much about if Gunna snitched on people or not, because Gunna has put out several hits. So people don't really care as much as they want to pretend like they have all this moral high ground and all this bullshit. Nobody really cares. You could be a serial killer. You could be a rapist. You could be a lot of crazy things. But if you put out a hit song or multiple hit songs, people are typically going to look past all of that. But as of recently, Young Thug has not done that, and so that makes things even worse, because now when you have moments like your concert allegedly having buy one get one free ticket sales, or people looking at you sideways after your interview trying to explain yourself, or the leaked phone calls, it could just become one big gumbo pot of basically a series of unfortunate events that can make people just simply say, okay, we not messing with him no more, he's done. So we'll see how things play out. I'm very interested to see if he can find another hit. Maybe he will, maybe he won't, only time will tell. But I'm still interested to see how it goes. I guess if there's one thing that could be taken away from this, is that for someone like Young Thug, the music should be doing more talking than he should be, because when he first got famous, that's what was happening. He really didn't talk like that, if you remember.